nothing has come before me yet. So I don't want to preempt any issue. When it does come, we'll give it a reasoned approach and communicate to the parties involved. I'm sure it's not a difficult thing to decide. When it comes, we look at the law, we look at the constitution, we look at the standing orders, and we'll make a decision.
The question of Azimio being the majority coalition in the National Assembly is already settled by the constitution, the statutes, and the standing orders. And that anybody who is dissatisfied with that position can only do the most logical thing, which is to seek redress in court. The Speaker is not expected to make any ruling on this matter. There is no ruling to be made. There is no determination to be made. The matter is already settled, as I've said. What the Speaker will be doing essentially is to simply convey the information contained in the advisory from the Registrar of Political Parties.
Early this year, the Handshake brothers forced through amendments of the Political Parties Act in Parliament. And they created what was a coalition political party. Azimio One Kenya Alliance became a coalition political party. Today, as we speak, Azimio One Kenya Alliance political party is not a parliamentary party. It doesn't have a single member of parliament. Therefore, you go back to the default settings of either looking at whether we have a coalition of parties with a high number of seats, that will be the majority. Azimio One Kenya is not a coalition of political parties, it is a coalition political party. Kenya Kwanza is a coalition of political parties with close to 190 members of parliament, which is a majority.
All right, that is Kimani Ichung'wah, and earlier was Opiyo Wandayi and Speaker Moses Wetangula speaking about this question. Opiyo Wandayi says there's no question to be settled. The law and the standing orders clearly stipulate who is in the majority, who is in the minority. Honorable Ukuria, what are your thoughts about this question, and what then are you going to do? You come from Kenya Kwanza, yes, but what is the right path to follow?
Sam, I would like to take a little non-technical view on this particular matter. On the 9th of August, Kenyans woke up to vote for 6 candidates. And on those candidates, one of them was a president. The 2 leading contestants were the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. So on that ballot paper, on the left, there was a party symbol, the party name, the party symbol, and the name. Mm-hmm. On that ballot paper, for William Samoei Ruto was a wheelbarrow for UDA and a running mate called Rigathi Gachagua. For Raila Odinga, the name of the party in which this person was running was Azimio, and with the sign of, I think there's something blue or something like that, with their chairman as the Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. So really, from even a pedestrian perspective, the candidates that we went to vote for to form the presidency was William Ruto and the UDA and Raila Odinga and Azimio party. Let's talk about the parties that we were voting for. And again, if you look at the other candidates, I think it was Maure of Agano party and all those others, they were in a party, in a single party. Mm-hmm. So, and that backs up what the Honorable Nelson is saying. So if we look at the parties that went to the presidential election, in terms of party, there was UDA and there was Azimio party, and Azimio party did not get any one single candidate. And of course, if our UDA numbers will tell you. So beyond now that particular party we have a candidate called William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua in our UDA party, we look for partners that would work with, and that's what forms the Kenya Kwanza coalition. And that says that now we are willing to form government with you and work with you to support government bills in the floor of the House. So what our brothers and sisters, are saying, I think we're back to the days, to a few weeks ago of Kiingereza mingi and a truck full of evidence and hot air, and at the end of the day, there's nothing. Because even the practicability of it, so if they had numbers, again, I'm really avoiding the technical bit. If they had the numbers, how did they raise the numbers to elect the Speaker of the National Assembly? How did they not raise the numbers to elect the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly? So really, where are these your numbers? Again, to the point where they want to take us to technicalities, they want to drag us behind, they want us to have a contest where there is none. Because in any case, in terms of committees of the House that go to the majority. So they are saying, for example, that if they are the majority party, then we're supposed to go to oversight committees of PAC and PIC, and bills committees like Finance and Budget and Appropriations Committee, which sort of bring the government agenda. So how will this Azimio bring a government agenda in an executive that's not there? So I think I really want them to really cede ground. Let them accept that this country has moved forward. Let us avoid a contest where there's none, and let us embark in building this nation.
In your view, how many members does Kenya Kwanza have in Parliament?
We are 158, I think. 165.
158.
165.
So how do you arrive at this number?
Because you have UDM.
We have UDA, we have PA.
You have,
we have DP, we have
Fabian Mood, I don't know which party it's called, yeah. You have Kiunjuri also. Have,
TSP.
Yeah, TSP.
In fact, TSP has 2 members.
I can give
and women
you.
rep for Tharaka.
No, that's fine, because what I'm concerned about is what now pushes you now to the majority above what Azimio is claiming to be 160.
So I'll tell you, we have
96.
8 from ANC. We have 1 from CCM. We have 5 from, hang on 1 second.
For Kenya?
Meanwhile, as he does the math, let me put a few things into perspective, Sam. You know, they belabor this point for too long because they are wrong. For us who are right, you don't have to really speak too much. Though he is also accusing me, he's admonishing me actually for speaking English. And I thought this show is run in English.
No.
Otherwise, it could be in Chamuge or Kass FM.
I put quote and quote.
Yes. So, anyway, why Azimio coalition reign with ODM as the presidential candidate and NAC Kenya as the deputy president candidate is because we recognize the coalition of parties under Azimio. Otherwise, the regional political parties would have had a very big problem with us if we did not present ourselves as a coalition of parties. IEBC, which is now in bed with UDA and Kenya Kwanza, would have actually thrown us out if we did not have a coalition of parties registered under law. And that is why we had to make certain amendments.
You know, Honorable Okello, there's a line you just added there. I'm not sure it's necessary for this conversation. But let me...
I'll sidestep that.
Hold on. Let me get back to Honorable Nelson or Honorable...
No, let me just finish in under 1 minute.
Honorable Okello.
So what I'm saying, and I want to read this to you, Sam. It says, the majority party whip, and that is now standing order 19A, clause 3. The majority party whip shall communicate the name of the members elected under paragraph 1 to the speaker in writing on behalf of the majority party. So the whip only takes the letter highlighting the coalitions and their membership to the speaker. And this is the only thing the speaker will do. Therefore, don't expect any ruling.
But this is in 4. You see, it doesn't say.
This is in 4.
Which whip will do that?
So let me firstly read the 4th. The speaker shall, as soon as practicable, following receipt of the names under paragraph 3, convey the information to the assembled house. There is no decision to be made by the speaker here.
Which is
if
fine.
The house is sitting.
I don't have a problem with this.
Now,
just hold on, Honorable Okello, please. Because you're saying that the majority chief whip will do that.
Correct.
That could be Silvanus Osoro, it could be Junet Mohammed.
Correct.
They might actually go ahead and give 2 communications to the speaker. And therefore the matter squarely will fall on the hands of the speaker.
The information comes from the registrar of political parties. And I told you that we already received a letter on the 7th of September highlighting which political parties fall under which coalitions. And all those parties have representation in Parliament. It is just simple math. We have 26 political parties under Azimio. They have 15 political parties. And if you compute Azimio has 169, they have 158. There is no role the Speaker shall have here, except looking at the letter from the Speaker, which has to be...
Registrar.
Yeah, from the Registrar of Political Parties, which also goes through the clerk of the National Assembly. So the clerk and the Speaker already have this letter from the Registrar of Political Parties.
That's fine.
So there is no contestation.
That's quite clear on what you're saying. But Honorable Koech, so now UDM and MDG are on your side.
Yeah.
How did you sign up with them at a time that you know they also belong to Azimio la Umoja coalition?
We will continue signing many members who want to join us, because there are people who already want to support our agenda on the floor of the House. That is the reason why, I mean, people look at what is happening. Some of them want to actually align with our manifesto. It is the right time to do that. I mean, no one bars you from associating.
And there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
My question is about knowing that there is a technicality that would hold them back within the coalition political party they went into the election with. How then does that settle?
That's now up to the Speaker to pronounce themselves on that. It's unconstitutional also to deny me the right to associate with any party or any other person that I want to associate with. And I think it is on those grounds that UDM are saying, no, we want to sever our links with the arrangement was just for winning the election. UDM has realized that, ODM did not win elections. Or Azimio did not win the elections. What is the business there then when you won't get anything out of it? It was to win power. They did not achieve that. So that thing is finished. Now they can get into new arrangements with Kenya Kwanza, which is not a political party.
Okay, Honorable Kuria, do you foresee a situation where you might start the term with one coalition being in the majority, along the way that changes?
I really don't think so. And again, I think we'll be labeling a lot on this. And I raise two issues. One, if they have the numbers, then they should have elected their own speaker and their own deputy speaker. They couldn't raise those numbers. So even in terms of logic, and remember also, we have a country to run. And it's really getting irritating to find people who really want to continue dragging us back, to continue taking us to elections, to try making us into contexts where there are none. These Kenyans are expecting services to be provided to them. The Azimio supporters that went to vote for Raila Odinga and Martha Karua as their presidential candidates have accepted and moved on. In fact, the reasonable ones among them are trying to ask themselves, where did they go wrong? And they're trying now to regroup and to prepare themselves for the next election. So please, let us not try to bring a contest where there isn't. We have a country to run. We have food prices that we need to bring down. We have jobs to create. We have Hustlers Fund we need to activate. There is so much that needs to be done that this context is not going to help us. And I think the Speaker in his wisdom will rule accordingly, because this country needs to move forward.
Well, Sam, there will be no ruling because we rely on the Constitution and the standing orders. But, you know, we need political hygiene in this country. We signed coalition agreements 6 months before the elections. And there were remedies, properly so, put into the Constitution. The mere fact that Azimio coalition lost presidential election does not warrant nullification of all the agreements that were hitherto signed. And that is what we talk about political hygiene. Some members now think that because Kenya Kwanza has the power, let us abandon all the agreements that we had and move to Kenya Kwanza, because they've never learned how to be on this side of the political divide. So that is why these agreements are key, and they have to be signed and deposited with the Registrar of Political Parties. My brother Kuna has alluded to the affairs, which I know was going to come. Their biggest worry is that whereas they acknowledge we have the majority, what will happen to all the committees in Parliament, which are actually elected? The chairperson and the vice chairperson are both elected by members. Now, if you do the computation, right now, with the new standing orders, our membership from committees moved from 19 to 15. Because again, we also have additional committees that have since been created. So, Azimio by right, will have 8 members. Kenya Kwanza, by right, will have 7 members. So if you were to
About
elect...
independents?
Independents are really not considered as political parties, but they also have the committees that they get aligned to, such as Special Funds Accounts Committee. That is a preserve of independence. So in that scenario, therefore, their fear is you have all the committees, 43 in the House, all going to be chaired by Azimio, because they have the numbers in those committees. So their fear is, assuming Azimio is chairing Budget and Appropriations Committee, for instance, and the executive has to continue, talking to a member of Azimio coalition in order that the budgetary lines are correct. That is the fear that they have. Otherwise, if it was not related to the committees, they would not have any problem with that.
I want us to make a bit of progress.
It's going to be very embarrassing for them. And let's take his scenario. So you have 8 members from Azimio. Let's even, for discussion's sake, you have 8 members from Azimio and 7 members from Kenya Kwanza. So there are 8 members from Azimio. They have to nominate from their different quote-unquote political parties. So they are going to have members from UDM in that committee among the 8. And UDM are now affiliated to us. So even when at the actual time of voting, when you think again you have the numbers, you end up with a chair, we from our side, and it is...
Well, UDM has 5 members. UDM has 5 members. We have 43 committees.
We're talking about
we can give them. We can give them. Let's donate.
And they have all left you.
Let's donate those 5 to them. We have 43 committees.
I think UDM has more members than that.
UDM has 8.
UDM has 9 members in total, including the nominated MPs.
Including the...
But anyway, let's make progress. I want us to listen to something, because you're starting your term. So many changes have taken place in